Hey, what's up, everybody? It's Blake Media once again, coming back to you. As I last said to you, Boston Medical Center or Yawkey Ambulatory Services, but see what says Boston Medical. But it was also BC, Boston Medical Center here, but here's where it all took place for me. Right over here, at least this is what I was told by my parents back then when I was born. BCH, Boston City Hospital, which is what it was originally known as from all of my years of remembering, Boston City Hospital. Of course, it's gone through a lot of name changes and things like that. But also in this place, I got to experience, or in the form of witnessing, a lot of things that have taken place. Like all of these, the people that you see around here, a lot of these people come here to seek medical treatment, to seek whatever kind of traumatic experiences of mental health that they may be going through, and there's a lot. So the Barbara McGinnis, which is right around the corner from here, you will see a lot of that, and a lot of people that are experiencing a lot of trauma that they've yet to really deal with. We can just see the manifestation, the outward side of the trauma, but not the inward of the trauma, like we need to be paying attention to. So this is me here. This is where I was born, at this building here, Boston City Hospital, in the year May 8th, 1965. Your boy, Blake Media. Word. Hey, what's up, everybody? Blake Media back at you. So we're over here at the Carter School now, which was the first school that I ever went to that I had mentioned to you. And Carter School. The only reason why we saw this is because there was a gentleman that was coming from here, and I asked him, was he familiar with the Carter School? And he says they just knocked this down, a school down, and redid it. So this is it. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna take a walk over to the front of the building. First school, 1971. 1970, it's the first school I ever went to. So more of the historical context. Yes, this is it. I remember this when I was last here. So before, the Carter School was just a rectangle building with none of these designs or colors or none of this stuff. It was just maybe 50 feet long. But this is the new Carter School, but this is where it took place for me in 1970 when I first started going to school here. And obviously it's changed a lot like everything else, but this was the school, and this is the full name of it is this here, the William E. Carter School. This is the full name of it, the William E. Carter School, which is where it started for me in 1970. 369 Northampton Street. 369 Northampton. So I'm gonna take a quick photo of this. One from an angle. Here. Well, I can share that with the GP general public. Thank you. This is Blake Media signing out. Hey, what's happening, everyone? This is Blake from Blake Media. How's everybody doing on this beautiful, hot summer 2026, July 3rd. So anyway, we are going to do a little bit of a historical retake on the South End. And as you can see right here, this is 210 Northampton Street. This is the first home that I ever lived in, 210 Northampton Street, South End, Boston, Mass. I was born in the City Hospital, May 8th, 1965. And to my left, you will see that is where we lived at. There was a basement, and it was a first floor, and there was a basement. This was our little yard here that we had, and this is where we got our start at. My siblings, parents, and all up and down this street. The parents watch one another's kids. My parents weren't around, that there was someone around to watch us, and we did what we were told to do. And if we got out of, we knew better not to get out of line. There was a certain code of discipline back then at that time that we knew. When our parents left, there was someone to watch us, and then we did just what we were supposed to do, and that's how that was. And so this place brings back a lot of memories. Right around the corner there was several businesses right around the corner at the corner of Northampton and Tremont Street, and the South End today has obviously, it's all been gentrified. It's changed a whole lot since then. I was born in what is the City Hospital, as I call it, Boston City Hospital. So, and we were over at the BCH, Boston City Hospital, where I was born. Oh, stop. And so what we're going to do now is we're going to go for a little journey and check out some places that used to be, that are no longer. And there were certain people that lived in the areas that are obviously no longer around. A lot of people that were adults then are no longer around. But I do have a few childhood friends that are still have memories of the neighborhood like I and my siblings do. So there is another school. My first school I ever went to was called the Carter School, which is also down in the South End where Northeastern, I think, bought up the property. And I'm not sure if it's even still there. Hopefully it is. I want to take a picture in front of it for historical memories. So this is the end of Northampton, which turns into Tremont Street. And if we were to go straight across, we would be in Northeastern property, because I believe they bought up all of that property as well. Yes, the schools are buying up a lot of property. And so this gas station that's across the street has changed a lot too. It's downsized, but it's been there for a very long time. This gas station's been here. But you will also notice that there are a lot of building structures where people used to live at, they no longer live at. They facelift, or they've literally just moved everybody out and turned these homes into not more affordable homes, but more homes that people can't afford, struggling to pay rent. These businesses, this used to be wig shops and other hole-in-the-wall businesses, stores from 1974, 1975, or even earlier that I remember. I'm not sure what that check cashing place was before that. I do know that on a corner of Mass Ave and Tremont, that used to be a liquor store called Marvin's, and all these businesses here, which are now new to me, have all become a part of what I call the gentrification of the South End, which is clear in anybody's vision that knows anything about the history of this place. And so if you look over there, like all of these buildings and all of these here used to be where a lot of black people lived at, which they no longer live at. And my grandmother used to live on down the street. If you went to West Concord Street where the fire station is, she lived there. Brownstones is what they were. But all that, as people have been moved out, they restructured that whole social economy, or that political economy. And so, as you can see, some of the stuff that's put up now to justify where they're heading socially and politically, and all down here, if you look at these buildings, many of them have had their facelifts put on them to reestablish, or should I say to establish a new look as well on them. And this is on both sides of the streets. So if you, Blake Media, back at you. So this here is the Boston Public Library South End branch, Tremont Street. This is the first library that I ever went to. The first library, Boston Public Library, South End, Tremont Street. And right here, the corner of Tremont and Rutland, this used to be a playground, of which it is no longer. There was a swing set and some other stuff that was here. And this is where we would come after school, because my mother would drop us off at our grandparents' house, or our grandparents would come to pick us up. So here's where we stopped at when it was nice out. And here is where we used to have our fun at, right here. Then we go into the library, and then we go across the street into the corner store there, which has gone through several changes since then. And across the street there, you see the fire station, because my grandmother lived on Concord Square, I believe it is, or Concord Square. So that's the fire station that we used to go in at times and watch the fire trucks come out. So as a kid, these are the memories that I have. Buildings kind of look the same, but they're not the same. I wasn't a chess player then, but guess what? Blake Media is one now. Yeah, so that church that you see that's next to the fire station, that's the first church I ever went to. No, I'm sorry, it's not the first church I ever went to. There was one on Concord Street. It was a Baptist church. It was most blacks in this country, Baptist. And I think it was First Baptist, and that was the first church that I ever went to. And so that's the history of Blake, my time as a kid in the South End. All of which I just mentioned to you, from 210 Northampton Street to Boston City Hospital to the Carter School, and now here, this was all from 1965 till up until 1974. And I mentioned to you in an earlier video about Skippy White's, which was the corner of Washington and Mass Ave as well. There was Freddie Parker's, and there were a number of other places, businesses, Chico's of that time. But that was all from 1970, from the year I was born, 1965, up until 1975, I'll say. Left, went to Dorchester, and this is the history as from birth to 10 years old. Blake Media.